Welcome to this lecture 25 in groundwater hydrology. In this lecture, we will be covering this groundwater salinity and samples, followed by graphical representations of groundwater. So, now let us discuss this. Let us start with this groundwater salinity. See, almost all groundwater contains salts and hence has salinity. And this salt content varies from this is less than 25 mg per liter to 40,000. So, this is in quartzite springs to 40,000 mg per liter in brines, or which are there is a strong solutions of salt, common salt or here. So, this salinity, this type and concentration salts varies with environment, then movement, that is the movement of salts, as well as source from where these salts originate. So, the generally salt concentration in groundwater, so this groundwater, GW is abbreviation for groundwater, is much greater than salt concentration in surface water. So, the reason is obvious, because in case of groundwater the flow velocity is much less, reason is greater exposure to soluble materials in geological strata. Whereas, in case of surface water it may not happen, and therefore, especially when the surface is almost impervious. So, in that case, so there will not be any exposure to soluble materials, and therefore, the salt concentration will be much less. And here, so the soluble salts in groundwater soluble salts in groundwater. So, they originate from primarily from rock material solutions. And here, so among the anions, so the most common anions are bicarbonates, so this is derived from CO2, that is released by organic decomposition. On the other hand, the salinity also varies so this is the primary anions are HCO3 in groundwater. Primary anions in groundwater are HCO3, and salinity also varies with this surface area of aquifer, comma, solubility of minerals or mineral solubility, and obviously this contact time. So, each one of them, if when they are more, so then obviously the salinity also increases. And so the salinity is the highest when the groundwater movement is the least, is the slowest. And generally, so therefore, generally salinity, so it increases with say depth, because as we go down, so the groundwater movement slows down and hence the salinity increases. So, this common this one is the, say suppose this is the ground, so this is the ground level, and then so this is shallow depths. So, this is the and then so this is the so deeper depths. So, at the shallow depths, so there will be bicarbonate salinity or say HCO3 waters, groundwater, and at deeper depth and at deepest depths. So, here this is a chloride groundwater. So, in between the remaining salts will be. So, now let us go on to let us discuss other factors. Say for example, this precipitation, this the precipitation which falls on ground. So, contains small amounts of dissolved minerals. So, once this precipitation reaches ground, as precipitation reaches ground, so it reacts with soil minerals and rocks. And here, so the type of mineral dissolved depends on that is the chemical composition, of rock, physical structure of rock, and also it depends upon the pH. And the redox potential. So, these are the 4 factors which decide the type of mineral dissolved in groundwater. And here so this carbon dioxide in solution. So, this is assists in solvent action. And also solvent action of water and results in the downward movement of groundwater. So, in areas with large groundwater recharge, say for example, in alluvial streams, channels, artificial recharge areas, so in these areas, so the quality of infiltrating groundwater, infiltrating surface water so this largely influences groundwater quality. And here, so this locally absorbed gases from gases originating from magma contribute dissolved minerals to groundwater. So, this connate water, that is soluble compounds of marine sediments, that is water with soluble compounds of marine sediments has high mineral content. Because it is derived from water entrapped in sedimentary strata. Now, let us briefly discuss the geochemical cycle of surface water and groundwater. So, this is taken from the source. So, the USGS water supply paper (1469). Here, in this case, so this is there is a evaporation, and this evaporation, so and here there is condensation, and of course, so here there is atmosphere, and while condensation, so here in this so here it gets nitrogen, oxygen, N2, O2, CO2. So, these are dissolved. Then so here there will be precipitation, and from precipitation, so a small component will go into atmosphere, and part of it will move, and major part of it will move downwards, and here in this precipitation, so this precipitation gets added with so this is a retention in mountains. So, here this is it gets added with CO2 dissolved in soil, then Ca, calcium, sodium, magnesium bicarbonates, and then it also gets added with sulfates, and it also this connate water. So, all these things, and then it results. So, eventually it is moving as runoff, and this part of runoff so here this is evaporation, and again after evaporation it goes into atmosphere, and then so here part of this runoff also goes into what is called the soil water. So, this is a, and again in this soil water, so this is CO2 will get added, then soil minerals, then carbonic acids, that is H2 CO3, then colloidal Fe, Al, silica SiO2, etc. And again say from this it goes through the, so the soil water is absorbed by the plants, and here so this is transpiration, and again say from transpiration it goes into, so this atmosphere. And here, so these are the plants, and a part of it so here this is the so this so after this evaporation, so what are left are the chlorides, sulfates, of Na, sodium, magnesium, calcium, so they also get carried, and here so this so here you have the runoff. So this is a and from this runoff you have this to soil water, and again so this is here you have the precipitation, and so this part of runoff, so this goes to this ocean outflow, and this is here there is a ocean, and so this part of runoff, so this is goes to groundwater. So here this is soil water, already you have discussed this soil water, and below this soil water we have this groundwater. And from groundwater also there is a so this is the effluent seepage, which goes to this ocean outflow, and of course there will also be so subsurface outflow to oceans. And this is so this is the groundwater, and again so this the soil water as well as groundwater both are absorbed by plants, and so from these plants, so this transpiration, and again so it goes to so this atmosphere, and of course from this soil water also, so part of it so this is evaporation, so from precipitation also, so there will be some evaporation, and so here you have this atmosphere, and so here you have the atmosphere. So, this is the geochemical cycle of surface water and groundwater. So, now this the salts added to the groundwater are added to groundwater by soil weathering and also by rainfall erosion. So, this excess irrigation water contributes substantial substantial amounts of salts. So, moreover, the soluble salt materials, soluble soil materials, comma, fertilizers, comma, this selective salt absorption from plants alters the salt concentration in this percolating waters. So, we may find high salinity in soils and groundwater of arid regions where rainwater leaching is not effective. So, similarly, in poorly drained areas, there will be high salt content. So, these poorly drained areas, so they are generally referred to as badlands. So, because of poor drainage with low agricultural productivity. So, this is how the salinity in soils varies. Now, we will discuss about the samplings. So, the groundwater samplings. And here, so in the groundwater sampling, so this is for quality analysis. So, generally the samples are taken in Pyrex glass bottles or this polythene bottles. In say 1 to 2 liters, that is sufficient for normal routine analysis. So, this samples need to be stored in cool places for laboratory analysis for prompt lab analysis. And samples need to be taken only after groundwater pumping for some time. So, with each sample records related to well location, sample depth, casing size, then date, sampling date, water temperature, comma, odor, color, turbidity, say other operating conditions, need to be taken down, need to be noted down. So, for organic and radiological constituents, special sampling and storage techniques are required. Storage techniques specific to the groundwater pollutants need to be employed. So, if the time gap between sampling and analysis is short, the analysis is more reliable. So, this temperature analysis related to this temperature, pH, alkalinity, and dissolved gases so is done in the field itself. So, cations like Fe plus 2 comma plus 3, ferrous, ferric, Cu, then aluminum, manganese, chromium, zinc, are subject to loss by adsorption. Samples taken from wells penetrating stratified aquifers may yield different results. Different solute concentrations. So, in such case So, it should be possible to obtain water samples of groundwater meeting certain criteria, certain quality criteria, on the other hand, samples in individual strata could be entirely, could be totally unacceptable because there is only a single strata, and then so it may not be representative. So, now we will go to the graphic representation of groundwater quality. So, here in this graphic representation, so this can be through vertical bar graphs, or it can also be through trilinear diagrams, or it can be through radiating vector diagrams, circular diagrams, or semi logarithmic diagrams. Now, let us briefly consider the vertical bar graphs for groundwater quality representation. So, these vertical bar graphs may have these vertical bar graphs, and this is taken from Hem in 1970, and here, so this is the So, this is so there will be a reference number, and in this so here it could be so this could be sodium, and this could be magnesium, so this could be calcium, and likewise so this could be sulfate, so this could be carbonate and bicarbonate, and so this could be chloride and nitrate, like that. So, here so there will be multiple this vertical bar charts, each showing the concentration of different components, and then so on each one of them, so there will be a reference number. So, next we will we will go to this trilinear diagrams. So, this trilinear diagrams essentially so here there will be 3 triangles. So, the left triangle will have the cation concentration. So, this is Na plus K, and here this will be Ca, and the right side this one will have anion concentration, and here we have the and in between there will be a diamond shaped diagram which will have, which is a combination of both this left triangle and then right triangle. So, this is SO4 plus Cl sulfate plus chloride, and here this is calcium plus magnesium, and so this is the sodium and this one, and so like that. So, this is a trilinear diagram, and so this is taken from this again from the same source, that is Hem in 1970. And next it is the radiating vector diagrams. So, in case of this radiating vector diagrams, there will be the radiating vectors whose length represent So, this is vector length representing concentration. So, in this case, so there are say this is Na Mg, Na plus K Mg, then HCO3. Okay. So, we will continue this in the next class. Thank you.